Hi guys, thank you for joining me today. We're going to have a little session today focused on the idea of touch. And with so much happening at the moment with, COVID, and we're not touching each other as much as we normally would. That sounds really wrong, by the way. I do understand that. Sometimes it's nice to focus on how we touch ourselves, because actually when we touch people, it's more about the intention behind it. And sometimes we can neglect those kind intentions to ourselves. So we're going to keep that in mind. We're going to come and start by sitting. So as always, this is a live session, as in I've recorded it live. So you do get any noises like the postman knocking at the door or anything like that, I apologize in advance. But we want to make this as much as a real session as we can if we're not meeting in person at the moment. So come and find a comfortable seated position to start. That can be anything for you. I would like to sit cross-legged, but if that doesn't work for you, feel free to find an entirely different sitting position, or feel free to grab a block or a cushion to pop underneath your bottom and give yourself a little bit of height. We're going to stay here for a few breaths because we're going to focus on breathing into that abdomen. We want you to be comfortable. So in terms of where to put your hands, roll those shoulders back first, chest nice and open. Engage with tucking under and feel those shoulders coming nice and low. We want that nice tall posture. We're going to bring both hands, palms up, and leave them here just at the base of us. Close the eyes and engage with the breath. Allowing that tummy to rise on the inhale. Belly button coming back to spine on the exhale. Visualize that journey of the breath coming in and out through the nose. And really start to engage with that breath. Noticing how it feels and maybe trying to make that exhale a little bit longer. A little bit deeper. Allowing the tummy to move with you as you do so. And becoming aware of our hands touching our other hands. Those thumbs gently caressing. And bring one hand to the heart center and one hand to the lower abdominal. Feel that breath moving. Bring both hands down to the lower abdominal. Exhale, lengthening. Good. And when you're ready, you can gently blink those eyes open. We're going to keep that left hand onto the tummy. Take the right hand and turn out the palm. Inhale the right arm up. Exhale, bring it over for a side stretch. Then take that gaze up and you've gone as far as you're going to go. Let that right shoulder pull open so the chest is nice and open, lengthening through those fingertips. 2 breaths here. Excellent. Bring it down on exhale. Switch over the hands. Right hand comes to the tummy. Inhale that left arm up. As we exhale, bringing it over. Taking that gaze up and you've gone as far as you're going to go. Allow those fingers to stretch, allowing that shoulder to pull back so the chest is nice and open. 2 more breaths here. Good. Exhale, bring it back. If you sat cross-legged like me, just switch those legs around just to keep us nice and even through the hips. Good. We're going to focus on opening up that chest a little bit. So we're going to start with 3 breaths. We're going to swoosh those arms up and bring them down. So inhaling, arms up. Exhale, bring those down to the head to start with. Just hold here. Inhale. Exhale down to the lips. Inhale. Exhale to the heart. We'll do that one more time. Inhale. Exhale to the head. Kind thoughts. Exhale to the lips. Kind words. And exhale to the heart, for a kind heart. Just hold here for a breath or two, allowing those thumbs to connect to the heart center. Being aware of that touch at the chest. Then we'll release on the next exhale. Good. We're going to come on to all fours. We're going to do a couple of cat-cows. We really want these to be led by that internal breath, allowing that breath to guide us. So spreading those fingers wide, making those knees underneath the hips. Hands are underneath the shoulders. We're going to inhale, allow that pelvis to drop down, taking that gaze gently up. As we exhale, pelvis tilts, belly button back to spine. Head is the last thing to move. Go with your own breath length. Allowing everything to be led by the pelvis. Everything to be led by that curving of the spine. And give your internal breath some sound. Hear that breath. Be led and guided by it. Being aware of all the points of view that touch the floor right now. We'll do 3 more. Listening to that sound of your breath. Taking this moment to really be in your own body. Good. Gently come back and sit on your heels just for a moment, just to shake out those wrists if they need a little bit of shake. We're going to come into our down dog and do a little bit of flow. Just make sure you feel nice and comfortable in the wrist area. So it's going to be a very familiar flow for most of you. We are going to link on a little bit from there as well. But we're going to go from our down dog to our plank into our up face dog. Now remember, there's different levels in this, so go as far as feels right for you. If you're in plank and you feel like you need to drop your knees down. That's absolutely fine. And I'm going to show you the different versions that you can do. Just follow along with the one that feels right for you. So we're going to come back into all fours again. Take those hands slightly forward, the shoulders, ready to do our down dog. Take those knees as wide as the hips. We're going to tuck the toes under. On the exhale, push that bottom back and up. Now, if it's your first down dog you've done today, you might feel like you need a little bit of cycle here. So cycle those heels. Make that cycle nice and slow. We want to get into each hamstring. We want the calves to lengthen on both legs nice and naturally. Good. When you're ready, come into some sort of stillness in that down dog. Now, it doesn't matter if your knees are a little bit bent. What matters is that your back is nice and long and strong. Then your arms are pushing away at the floor, shoulders coming away from the elbows. So you have a really nice, sturdy down dog. Now from here on an inhale, we're going to come up onto high heels. Feed that body forward until you know you're in a high plank. Now we want that bottom to be engaged. We want that glutes and those cores to be engaged. Core engaged. From here, if you cannot get that, feel free to drop your knees down. We'd rather have that and have that alignment than have a soggy bottom or a half down dog. So try and get that in line. Now from here, on an exhale, you can drop your knees to the floor, bend at the elbows, or you can chaturanga down, elbows tight to the body. Inhale, push into those hands. Again, different options here. Have those elbows bent. And bring those elbows underneath those shoulders, allowing you to come into a slightly softer version of our Sphinx instead. Go for what feels right for you. 3 breaths into the top of the lungs. Good, last one. On the exhale, we'll tuck those toes under, kick back up to down dog. Again, if you need to cycle, cycle. If you're happy to stay still, stay still. Good. Exhale, take those knees down to the floor and gently come and sit on the backs of those heels. Good. Now I'm going to have a little sip of water because it's quite hot in here today. Feel free to do the same. We're going to come into a kneeling warrior. And I'm going to call this one our hugging warrior. So we're going to flow using a little bit of that touch. If coming in from down dog doesn't feel right for you, just come up to high kneeling and step that foot forward. For everybody else, we're going to come into down dog, tuck the toes under, push that bottom back up. So we're going to have a little bit of a lengthen and a play in our 3-legged dog to start with. So we'll inhale that leg up to the sky, lengthening through the leg, crown of the head coming towards the floor. Take a nice deep breath here. Then on an exhale, bend at the knee, take that gaze forward, gently bring that foot between the hands. Now you can get that foot there, however, feel free to just wiggle it forward if you need to. Now that back knee is going to go down to the mat. And we're going to come up through the torso. If you have sensitive knees, feel free to double the mat over to give yourself a little bit of extra padding. We want to make sure that front knee, the knee isn't going to come over the ankle. So if we're pushing forward, that knee starts to track over, just creep that foot forward. Hands are going to go on those hips, make sure they're nicely aligned. Nice deep breath in, opening that chest. As we exhale, pushing into that front hip and checking we can still see those toes. Now, coming into our hug, bring those arms around you. Inhale, open. Exhale, hug. Go with your own flow. Opening on that inhale, hugging on that exhale. Last one. Holding that hug. Take 2 more breaths here. Inhale, open, those arms go down by the side. Good, next exhale, we're going to bring those hands either side of the foot, tuck the toes under on that back leg, and we're going to kick back into down dog. Again, feel free to cycle if you need to. Allow that lengthening to happen. And we're going to play with the other leg, so inhaling that left leg up to the sky, coming into our 3-legged dog. Nice and long, allowing the body to stretch. Hold for a breath. And on the exhale, we bend at the knee, bring that foot forward and between those hands. Again, get that foot there however feels good for you if that doesn't quite work right. Bring that foot down, as in the right foot coming down to the floor, the knee coming down as with it, and gently come up through the torso. Good. Again, hands on those hips, make sure they're nice and level. Creep that foot forward, so as we push into that front hip, the knee doesn't go over the ankle, but it's in line with as much as possible. Feel free to double over the mat on the other side if you need a little bit of support. Good, nice open chest, shoulders nice and low. Let's start with the flow. Inhaling, open. Exhale, hug. Good, it's going to be our last one. And we'll hold on that hug. 3 breaths. Good. Releasing those arms. We're going to bring them down either side of that foot. Tuck the back leg under. Sink back into down dog. Good. Find that length through the spine here. Nice deep breath. And then on the exhale, walk those feet forward, coming into a forward bend. So don't worry about where your back is. Just allow your head to hang for a moment. So nice and grounded for those feet. Have a rock if you need to. We're going to feel like we're using all 4 corners of the foot. That's going to be our base so we can feel nice and grounded. Take 2 more breaths here. Good. Now inhale, hands to shins. Straighten that back out, coming into our half fold. Feeling like that back is nice and long. Hold for 2 breaths here. On the exhale, keep some of that length coming towards the floor. And then grab and hug your legs. Now, it doesn't matter where you get to on said legs. Just feel it stretched down the back of the legs. You have a little jiggle side to side if you want to. Good. Hands to shins. Inhale, gently rolling up, head's the last thing to come up. Good. Now we're going to come to the back of our mat. Do a little bit of a standing sequence from here. We're going to start with our arches pose. So standing at the back of the mat, have a good little rock on your feet, feel nice and grounded. Shoulders rolling open, tailbone tucked under. On an exhale, we're going to step forward with that right leg. That back foot is going to go parallel to the mat, toes tucking in by about 35 degrees. Good bend in that front knee. Hips are going to be aligned to the long edge of the mat. We're going to take those arms out at shoulder height. Look behind you, make sure you are shoulder height. And then kind of let down that front middle finger. As we inhale, allow that chest to open, fingers to lengthen. As we exhale, gently sink into that posture, but make sure you can still see those front toes. We're going to keep our gaze on that front middle finger, and this is our warrior 2. So take some nice deep breaths here. Allow that exhale to help you ground and root through the feet. Good. Now we're going to transition from this into our archer's pose. So bring that left hand to the left collarbone, and we're going to inhale, take the right hand, turn it to the side, almost like a shooting arrow, and lift that arm up to the sky. Good. So that front arm, the right arm is reaching up to the sky. That left hand is on our left shoulder, pulling it back and open. So this beautiful openness through the chest, and we're still pushing into that front hip. And we're going to take 3 breaths here in our archer's pose. Beautiful. Your next exhale, bring the arms back in line with the shoulders. Take those arms out, take a breath. Exhale, release. Heel to toe those feet in together. Good. Have a little shake. We're going to come to the other side. So coming back to the back of your mat when you're ready. Again, have a little rock for those feet so nice and grounded. Rolling that chest open, tucking that tailbone under. So we know that each bone's stacked on top of itself. On an exhale, we're going to step forward with the left leg this time. Back foot going parallel to the mat, tucking in by 35 degrees. Good bend in that front knee, but make sure the knee can come over the ankle. Hips aligned with the long edge of the mat. And we're going to take these arms out shoulder height again. Look behind you, make sure you are shoulder height. Then come and look down that front middle finger. Inhaling, allowing that chest to open, fingers to stretch. As we exhale, softening to that posture, keeping that gaze on that front middle finger. We'll take 3 breaths here, and then we're going to transition into our archer. Allow the tummy to move with the breath. Good. So we're going to bring that right hand onto the right collarbone or the right shoulder. Turn that left hand so it faces out to the wall. Tuck in the thumb and the little finger and the ring finger. Bring that arm up to the sky into our arches. Push into that front knee. As we inhale, lengthening through that chest, allowing that right hand to really open that shoulder out. As we exhale, softening into that hip. 3 breaths here. Beautiful. And your next exhale, bring that arm back to shoulder height. Come back to your warrior 2 just for a breath. And exhale, release. Heel to toe those feet together. Good. Super duper hot today. So apologies if I have a few water breaks. From here, we're going to go into our triangle posture. Now, the important thing about triangle posture is most definitely not how deep you get into the posture. The aim of this is not the floor. The aim of this is keeping that back as straight as if you're up against the brick wall, the lengthening through the chest. That's what we want to try to recreate. So if you don't go anywhere near the floor, it really doesn't matter. And actually, it's going to be really tough on those hamstrings, so be nice to yourself if you do it. Our legs are going to be the same as our warrior 2. We're going to go into it together, just keeping those bits in mind. So have a rock at the back of your mat. Good. Feel nice and grounded through the legs. I'm going to step forward with the right leg first. Back foot is going to go parallel to the mat, toes tucking in by 35 degrees, just the same as last time. Front leg is straight. We're going to keep it as straight as possible, but don't lock in the knee. So you need to keep that knee just a little bit soft. And we're going to open our arms out at shoulder height, but the palms are going to be facing forward this time. So take a nice deep breath in here. On the exhale, we're going to reach to the right, push the hips out to the left, and then windmill down towards that floor. And I say towards because we're not trying to do this. We want to do this. Okay, so keeping that chest nice and open, taking that gaze up towards that top thumb. We're going to hold it here for 4 breaths. So keep that back length, keep that chest opening. Tummy moving with the breath still. Beautiful. Now on that final 4th exhale, look towards that front foot, and we can gently windmill back up. Hands on the hips, give those arms a rest. Tuck the toes in on the right leg, turn the toes out on the left leg. So we want that right foot now to be turning in by about 35 degrees. And we've got that left leg nice and straight with the knee slightly soft. Go come on to do the other side straight away. So take those arms out shoulder height, palms facing out. Take a nice deep breath in. Good. Exhale, reach to the left. And windmill down. Good. Hand goes up to the sky and we look towards that right thumb, allowing that chest to lengthen, allowing that back to lengthen. We're going to take 2 more breaths here. Good. Now on your next exhale, look towards that front foot. Gently windmill back out. Hands to the hips. Heel to toe those feet together. And have a good little shake out. Good work, guys. Okay. Balance is going to be our next one. We're going to do our tree posture. We're going to make it a little hugging tree, okay? So we're going to flow in and around that heart center. So have a little rock on those feet. We want to lift those toes up and place them down one by one. That's going to help us feel nice and grounded through all 4 corners of the feet. We're going to keep those hips level throughout. So we want them to be like 2 little headlights pointing forward. So bring those hands onto those hips. Turn out that left leg. Now, hips stay level throughout, and there's different levels of a tree. Remember that we're going to be moving our arms. As we move our arms, your balance would be challenged. So work on a level that feels comfortable for you. The most important thing about tree is not letting the ego get in the way. So you can have your toes touching the floor like this. You can even grab a bit of wall if that helps you feel more supported. And your toes do not have to leave the ground. You're still opening the hips. You're still challenging that balance. If you want to take it further, you can take it up to the leg, or you can bring it up into the inner thigh. Wherever we go, we just avoid the knee area. So keep those hips nice and level throughout. If you have a little bit of a wobble, don't worry. Just try to focus on something that does not move. Hug the core in for support, and we're going to wrap those arms around us. Good. Inhale, open. Exhale, hug. Inhale, open. Exhale, hug. Inhale, opening. Exhale, hug. Last one. Hold it here. Notice how much more supported you feel with your own touch. Allow that support to go down through the feet, helping you feel grounded and sturdy. Good. Gently release on an exhale and bring that foot down. Have a good shake out. Work those legs pretty hard. Rock again on those feet. You need to find that base for the other leg, lifting the toes up and placing them down one by one. Hands on those hips again to start with. Turn out that right leg. So again, each side can feel slightly different. So don't worry if one side felt really sturdy and the other one doesn't, or vice versa. That's perfectly normal. We are built not always to be equal on each side, but that's fine. That's what we work with. So toes can touch. You can bring that foot to the calf, or you can bring it up to the inner thigh, but do make sure those hips stay level throughout, like 2 little headlights, okay? Good. Remember, we're going to be flowing, so find a level that feels comfortable and right for you. We'll start with a hug. Good. Inhale, opening. Exhale, hugging. If you find you're struggling with your balance a little bit today, try clearing the mind and then start again. So many things can throw us off our balance. Just focus on the breath and the touch. This is our last one. Hold it there. Embrace this beautiful hug from yourself. Thanking you for taking your time to come and practice today. We're going to release on the exhale, hands first, and then the leg. Good, have a good little shake out. We're going to come back down to the mat. We're going to do that by our down dog. So come towards the front of your mat. We're going to do a forward fold first. So hands down by your sides. Make those fingers nice and firm. Inhale, lift them up. As we exhale, hinging at the hips, pushing that bottom out. Full exhale down towards the ground to let that head hang. Keep some of that length in that spine if you can. If you don't reach the floor, just grab your elbows. Then we're going to bend at the knees as much as we need to be able to get our hands fully on the floor and step back with the right leg, then the left, coming into your down dog. And again, if you want to have a cycle, feel free to have a little cycle here. And then find that space. Good. On your next exhale, bring your knees down to the floor. Take those knees nice and wide. We're going to push back into our first child's pose. So lengthen those arms in front of you, bottom coming towards the heels. Let's engage with that breath. Allow that tummy to rise on the inhale. Belly button back to spine on the exhale. We're going to hold it here for a few breaths. Really allow that to open. Really allow those fingers to creep forward and those bottoms to sink back to the heels on the exhale. Good. Now from here, we're actually going to come into a twisted child. So we're staying in a child's pose, but we're going to thread that right arm underneath the left. That's just going to help us work into that upper spine a little bit. You can creep that left arm a bit more over to the right if you want to extend that stretch. And we're just allowing the head to go underneath the arm. Good. Take one more breath here. And gently unthread on an exhale. Come back to the center first. Take a breath. On our next exhale, we'll thread the left arm underneath the right. Just twisting to the other side. Taking one more breath here. And I'm threading on the exhale. Bring those hands in front of you and gently come up onto your knees, coming back into that tabletop position. And we're going to do a lovely shoulder stretch here. So take that right arm up along the mat. Bring that left arm down and in front of you. We're going to place our forehead onto that left arm and stretch that right arm out along the floor. Take a few breaths here. And be aware of your head touching your arm, that skin on skin. Feel comforted by it. Using the exhale to let us sink a little bit deeper. One more breath here. And we'll lift our head on an exhale. Gently push into that left hand to release the right arm back. Take that left arm up along the mat. Bring the right arm palm down in front of you. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale, bring that head onto the back of the arm. And again, just take a few breaths here. Allowing that tummy to move. Maybe allowing that exhale to lengthen. One more breath. Exhale, lift that head, push into the right hand to release that arm back. Now, before we come sit on the backs of our heels, tuck your toes under. We're going to stretch out the front of the feet, and I'm going to agree with you that this isn't the most pleasant one to do, but it is good for us to do it. So we're not going to hold it for too long. We're going to distract ourselves with a little bit of arm work. So walk those hands back. Bring some weight onto those toes if you can. If you can't and you're about here, that's fine. You're still working into those feet, so don't worry about that. We're going to bring our hands into the heart center, thumbs pushing into the chest, elbows nice and wide. Good. Let's inhale, take those arms up. Exhale, wide. Back to the chest. 2 more. Last one. Good. Hands come forward. Release those toes. Ooh. Gently sit back. So we're going to come and sit onto our bottoms next. You'll be pleased to hear. So come and sit onto your bum. We'll do a really nice little twist here, and then from here we'll actually move on to do a sitting version of our arches. So take your hands onto each knee. Now again, if this is wildly uncomfortable for you, we can look at some different versions. What we're trying to do is work into the spine, but I'd encourage you to sit on something like a cushion or a block. That will help give you a little bit of leverage and hopefully make this a little bit more comfortable for you, okay? Roll the shoulders back and open, nice tall spine, hugging in the tummy on this one. So we're going to start by taking that right hand onto the left knee, swoosh round that left hand and place it behind you, fingers in pyramids. You're going to take a nice deep breath in here. As we exhale, twist, look over that shoulder, twisting over to the left and finding the wall behind you. Now keep that spine nice and tall throughout all of this. Use the hands behind you for support to be able to do this. And breathe in. Making sure that exhale is nice and long and smooth. And the exhale may allow you to maybe go a millimeter or 2 more. Just take one more breath here. On the exhale, we gently unwind, coming back to the center. Take a breath in between. Allow everything to just resettle in the middle. All those internal organs have just given a good squeeze to allow them to set back where they were. Good. And then we're going to take that left hand onto the right knee. Swoosh that right hand round. Fingers in pyramids behind you. Take that gaze forward to start with. We want that nice, proud posture. Inhale here. As we exhale, twist over the right shoulder. Nice, tall spine. Breathing nice and deeply. Allow the exhale to lengthen. And take your tiny bit more. One more breath. And then exhale, release back into the center. Some little wiggle here, because it always feels quite nice after that. So just swooshing those shoulders down and around. Oh, this is so good after that. Lovely. Good, and then come back into the center. So while sitting out there, I'm going to start by taking our right leg out. I'm going to move back slightly on the mat just to make sure you see my toes throughout. Not because they're painted lovely red color, but just so you know which direction I'm going in. Naturally, the red color is not so nice, it needs a repaint. So I'm going to take that right leg out to start with. So take it out to the side. So normally when we're doing our leg stretches, we'll bring them forward and we'll hinge at the hips, bring in the chest. So looking at this in a slightly different way. So we're not going to go way out to the side, but bring it out to a nice angle where you've got a little bit more space there. That's when we open up into our arches. We've got a little bit more of a stretch that we can do across the chest, okay? It's a nice tall spine. If that's a real struggle for you, again, sit on something. It will naturally help lift those hips up and give you a little bit more space to work with. Toes are flexed on that right foot. Now, you can either grab the ankle or you can grab your thumb and your finger and make like a little loop. I'm going to make a little loop on mine. And then I'm going to bring that left hand onto the left collarbone again. I'm going to take a nice deep breath in, lengthening through that chest. Exhale, open that chest out. And I'm going to look towards that elbow. So we are working to the legs a little bit. Actually, you'll feel that you're working into that spine. And you're working into the opening of that chest. Good, take 2 more breaths. Keep pushing that chest forward. Good. Exhale, look towards that foot that we're holding onto the toe. Release the toe. This is where I regret moving back slightly. We're going to come into our half world thing. Take that left hand down to the floor, fingers spraying outwards. We're going to swoosh that right arm up. And as we do, that right foot is going to go into the floor and push the whole foot into the floor. Lift that chest, taking that gaze up, push that pelvis up to the sky. 2 breaths here into our half wild thing. Beautiful. Bring it down on an exhale. Lovely. And we're going to switch those legs over. Bring them both out in front of you. Have a little wiggle. Then we bring that right foot into the left side. Just take that left foot out to the side slightly. Good. Same applies. If you've moved off of what you were sat on, feel free to come back onto it. Good. We're going to do exactly the same. Either taking that thumb and the finger or grab hold of your ankle, whatever's more accessible to you and feels right today. You're doing the toe, loop them round. Hand goes onto the right collarbone, lifting it open. Good. Take that gaze up towards the elbow. Feel a beautiful stretch down the side of the body. 3 breaths here. Lovely. Last one. Good. Turn your gaze towards that toe on the left foot. Gently release. Bring the right hand down behind you, fingers facing outwards. We're going to swoosh with that left arm. Left foot goes into the floor. Lift that pelvis. Lift that chest. 2 beautiful big breaths in that half wild thing here. Good. Exhale. Gently bring it down. Good. Feet go out in front of you. Have a little wiggle. We actually could come and lie straight on our mats. Good. Oh, so coming on to our mats, we're going to carry on that touch theme, but also we want to really start to release now. So this is a great one for hormone balancing, should anybody require that. There's also a really good one for calming down our nervous system. So we're going to start by taking our legs over to the left. Now, I want us to be a little bit fussy about this. You want your knees to be in line with your hips, and I want your ankles to be in line with your knees. Okay, so we're coming at a nice right angle. Let those shoulders sink into the floor. We're bringing those arms out of shoulder height, palms are facing up. We're going to do what we call watch the sunrise. So we're going to inhale, bring that right hand up and over towards the left palm. Let them touch. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we close. Hands touch. Inhale, we open. Exhale, we close. So go with your own breath length here. Allow that gaze to follow that right thumb as it opens and closes. And really embrace that respite of touch when we reach the other hand. Now we want to go with our own breath length. Make that exhale as slow as possible. Try and make that motion last the whole of the breath length. Going as slow as you can, allowing those shoulder blades to almost be massaged with the movement. And make just one more on this side. And then on our next inhale, we'll bring those arms open, bring the legs up along with it, and take them all the way over to the right side. So again, making sure the knees are in line with the hips and our ankles are in line with the knees. Gently getting ready to watch the sunrise from the left side. Inhaling, opening, exhale, we close. And do it behind closed eyes. Just be led by your breath. I'm going to do 2 more here. On the inhale, opening out the shoulder blades. Exhale, bring those knees in. Bring the knees into the chest, give them a hug. We'll go take a nice deep breath in. On the exhale, lift the head up towards the knees. Bring the forehead to the knees. Hold here for a breath. And then we'll release that head back down on the next exhale. Have a good rock side to side. Good. When you're ready, release those feet into the floor. Let the soles of the feet come together and the knees fall out wide. Place one hand on the heart center, one hand on the tummy. Just as we did when we started. Focusing on that flow of breath going through the body. Focus on that touch, the comforting touch on your skin. Maybe feeling the gentle warmth of the hands. Embracing that slow, long exhale. observing that wonderful lift in the tummy on the inhale. And gently release your arms down by the sides. Let your feet fall mat width apart, palms facing up. Take a few deep breaths here. And start to think of that breath as almost being like the ocean. That inhale like a tide washing down over the feet. And that exhale like a tide going out. As the tide comes in, it brings in that fresh, new, light breath. And as the tide goes out, it takes away anything we no longer require. Let it take away anything we're holding on to, any chatter, any little pockets that we notice when we scan our body. Allowing that tide of breath to wash over you. We can start whilst we're lying in our Shavasana. Just relax the muscles down into the ground. Allowing the toes, the feet, the ankles to release. Softening through the legs and knees. Allowing the hips to melt into the floor. Allowing the glutes to switch off and relax. We allow the spine to melt into the floor, vertebrae by vertebrae. Allowing the chest to sink into the ground, supported by the earth beneath. Allowing the shoulders to soften, the arms to release, the fingers to unfurl. Now on the head and the neck, feel cushioned and supported by the ground. We bring our attention to the cool air coming in through the nose, the slightly warmer air going out. When we're ready, we'll just bring a little bit of movement into those fingers and toes, having a little wiggle. Roll onto any one side and just take a few breaths here first. Make a little pillow out of your hand. Enjoying that face being supported by the hand. That softening, kind touch. And then gently make your way up to sitting, whichever way feels right for you. And close the class with 3 nice deep breaths. Bring your hands down to the heart center. So as we inhale, take those arms up. Exhale, bring them down. Last one. Namaste. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I hope you enjoyed the class. Feel free to take a few extra breaths in your practice, or even come back to a nice chilled out Shavasana. I hope to see you guys soon. In the meantime, look after yourselves, practice some yoga, enjoy being in space with your body and your breath. Bye guys.